Buckle up for safety, kiddos. What's happening? What's happening, viewer? Good to see you in there. You're riding home with me today. If you hang around long enough. That seems to have a little bit of an issue of people hanging around long enough to see me run my mouth for a half hour, and I guess since you're gone, that means that you're having a hard time with it too. That's all right. Thanks for stopping in anyway. I got a like and a view. How about that? Oh, that's not a like. There's still a 0 there. Damn it. Oh, well. Man. What a slow, boring, dumbass day. Yeah. Not a lot going on at the workstead today. Some days like we used to have where I could stay busy from the time I got there until the time I went home, and I could work overtime to justify it. I can't do that right now, you know. Too slow for that. We only got I don't know, 28 vehicles to go out by the end of the week this week. I'm pretty sure we'll make it, but yeah, I hate the slow days at work. I get tired of having to, go find shit to do. You know what I mean? We've got a website. It's an intraweb, within the company, and we've got something called Workday. How they keep track of everything, from your absences to company news to your pay stubs. Everything is on there, on that intraweb, and it's called the Pulse. And I guess the reason that it's called the Pulse is because it's pretty much the heartbeat of everything that goes on there. But anyway, they got a section in there that is called Workday. And Workday, they have something called Holman University, and it's basically just like an intercompany website where you go do lessons and stuff. Every once in a while they have, they'll assign you a lesson. Basically all it is glorified training. That's really all it is. But it's sponsored and done by the company itself, so it helps to do it every now and then. But a lot of the stuff is revisited, with some of the scenarios they give you, how to handle a active shooter and, whistleblowing, and then they've got some safety stuff on there, on how to safely deal with bandsaws and drill presses and everyday tools that we use there at the company. So it's none too bad. That can occupy a lot of time, these lessons. Some of them are pretty long, some of them are just videos, and then some of them you have to really pay attention, and you go through sections, and then they give you a quiz at the end. Boy, do I love quizzes, somebody on Snapchat sending me a snap. Anyway, so you do some of that. It doesn't really do anything but just let them know that you're paying attention to what the hell's going on within the company, stuff like that. And it's actually pretty cool, I guess. It can be. I don't know where my daughter is today. She's not on yet. I I expected she would be one of the first people I'd see today. But since you guys are here, if you would just hit the button twice on your phone there, the screen, and like my video or subscribe or do whatever it is people do these days. I'd sure enough appreciate it, even though it's not mandatory and I don't really care if you do it or not. It's just nice to have some numbers, to help me with the algorithm. But I ain't too proud to beg, so there you go. I'm gonna have to stop and get some Go Juice today. You guys gonna go to Costco with me? I go to Costco to get fuel because I get it like 10 cents cheaper than everywhere else. Of course, now these days it doesn't really matter where you get it; it's still expensive. No matter, even if you get 10 to 15 cents off if you're in one of these buyers programs like Costco or one of those others, it's still expensive. And of course, I chose to drive the gas hog this week. I'm driving my 2008 Chevy Trailblazer from home. Well, I'm gonna drive it all week this week. I decided to give my new car a rest. It's got 9,000 miles on it now, which isn't too bad. I've had it since September of last year. So we're in August now, so September will be a year. And I think when you lease a car, the leasing companies, they average about 15,000 miles a year on the average driver. So I've driven 5,000 less than that. But I mean, I guess it helps to have two cars, that are operational. The only issue with that, excuse me, working class. The only issue with that is that, a lot of times, one car or the other will sit. You can't let cars sit really long time. So, surely something will fuck up on it and then you're screwed, But I had some squirrels tear up some stuff on my new car. I don't know, probably 6 months ago now. It's like right at the beginning of spring. I don't know, maybe it was a little later. Maybe it was like late March, early April, or something like that. But anyway, a squirrel that was in heat got up underneath my hood, tore up a bunch of shit, chewed up a bunch of rubber insulating and soundproofing, so I had to get all that replaced. But that's what you get when you let shit sit too long. Amen. The fiberglass on the road. Dumbasses. I don't know why these people can't tie shit down on their trucks. That was scary. I had a dump truck on my right hand side in front of me. I had to get in my lane to go past it. Anyway, tie your shit down, people, when you're driving shit in your car or your truck, the back of your truck or on a trailer. Tie that shit down so it don't get in the road and cause a wreck. There, that's my public service announcement for the day. Drive more careful. Don't follow too close. Anyway, it's common sense, folks. Following distance is the biggest, to me, is probably the biggest, the most important thing, while you're driving. Because if there's something on the road, if somebody runs over something in front of you, it's going to more than likely bounce in the direction that you're going. But if you don't have enough space between you and the car in front of you, you're not going to see it when it comes up off the road. So just be careful. Follow distance. All right, I'm going to stop in here and get some Go Juice. We don't call it fuel in these parts. We call it Go Juice. Well, I'm full of myself today. I thought of something funny. We all live in a pretty screwed up world right now. Where human kids can't figure out if they're human or if they're some kind of a fucking furry animal. They also can't decide which flavor of toilet cleaner to fucking drink these days either. Yeah, with that, I'm gonna go get some gas, y'all. I got 10 of you on here. If you can hang out just a few minutes, if you got time, I'm gonna go pump some gas in my gas hog here. I'll be back in a minute. You guys hang loose. You guys don't go anywhere. I'll be there in a minute. Still got 6 of you in here. Oh, that's good. In case y'all wonder, I had to go get some Go Juice. Some of you may have heard me a few minutes ago. I needed some Go Juice. Not too bad today. I spent $38 and got like 14 gallons or something like that, so that's not bad. Yep. What's going on over here? Alright folks, don't run me over. Let's stop here in a second, reset my tripometer. I like to try and keep kind of tabs on miles per gallon and stuff. You know, I just had this thing tuned up not too awful long ago. I think they did a fuel injection cleaning, they replaced the spark plugs, and the number 5 cylinder was out. I had to have a coil put in the number 5 cylinder. Let's see here. Where the hell's my tripometer? There it is. Reset. I got two different cars I drive, so it's two different ways, and I forget from time to time how each one is reset. But anyway, this old truck's pretty good, man. I got a straight six in it. It's a 4.2 liter straight six, inline six, Chevrolet, of course. Chevrolet Trailblazer. It's a 2008. It's got, let's see, I got, shit, where's my miles? Hell, where's my odometer at? See, I'm lost. You think I know where all the buttons are in this thing as much as I drive it. 246,999 miles is what's on this thing. You know, I bought it used at CarMax back in 2016. It was already 8 years old, but it only had 125,000 miles on it. So since I've gotten it, me and my better half, Dee, some of you may know who Dee is, some of you may not. That's my significant other. We've managed to put another 120,000 miles on it, and we've had it since 2016, so 9 years. That's not too bad, you know. But I don't drive it a whole lot anymore. She used to drive it a lot. She's a printer technician. She goes out and fixes printers and copiers and fax machines and shit. That's what she used to do. She's a dispatcher now, but that's what she used to do, and she used this truck to get around, and but she's not doing that anymore. Let's see here. Somebody's saying Olay. Let me put on my other glasses so I can read. I can't see shit. The other one's on. Loch Ness! What's happening? I believe this is your first time in. I don't think I've ever seen you before. Or if you've been here, you haven't commented. God, my glasses are dirty. Now I'll have to wipe my glasses off here. That's almost as bad as it was with the sunglasses on. But like I said, she's not doing that anymore. So, and she's got I went to CarMax and bought her a 2015 Chevy Traverse. So she drives that now, but she doesn't do service calls anymore. And that one's got, I think, right at 92,000 miles or something on it. We got it, it had like 84,000 miles on it or something like that. So she's driven it quite a bit, but she doesn't drive it on the daily like she did this one when, you know, she was on the service crew or whatever, doing service work. Olay, is that Nebraska? Is that where you're at? Loch Ness, you're in Nebraska? Olay, N-E? I don't know, I've never heard of that place. Is that a place? Nebraska? Is that N-E? Or is that N-B? I don't know my states. You know, I knew all that shit when I was a kid. You know, like the states and the capitals and shit. I don't know all that now. I mean, like the important ones I know, you know, like Washington, D.C. The capital of Washington, D.C. is Communist Russia. I always get people with that one. They always think that one's pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, I don't know abbreviations, but I'm glad you chimed in there and got you a shout out anyway. If you're new here, I don't charge people or make people do dumb shit to get shout outs. They just, you know, type your name or type your message of some kind. Hello, kiss my ass, fuck you, something. You're a dumbass. And I'll say hello, whoever it is, you know. I don't get upset about shit like that either. I think it's kind of funny. You know, we all got a little lighter. Well, that's better. I clean off my glasses there. That's a little better. And I got no viewers again. Wow. You guys must not love me today. Something. Hello, viewer. Well, you're the only one here. Imagine that. Oh, I got two now. Yeehaw, we're moving up in the world. You know, I've had as much as, I think, probably 15 to 17 people on my live feed, you know, when I do these. Now, I usually do them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Last week I did a live feed every day, but I missed yesterday. So I thought, well, I'll just make up for it and do one today. Even though I don't really have a whole lot to discuss. I really didn't think about it too much today. You know, it's just another traumatic Tuesday is basically all it is. I did post a short video earlier today. I don't know if any of you have seen it yet. Of course, I don't know who is subscribed to me and who's not out of you guys that are on here now. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you want to. If not, that's okay too. You know, I can't, you know, like reach through the phone and choke the shit out of any of you or anything like that. So, not that I would, you know, but yeah, when people do subscribe, that's pretty cool. It helps me with the algorithms a little bit too. Damn, a rock just hit my windshield. Damn it. That's why you can't have nice things, you know? Look, if people got nothing else better to do, throw rocks out the window. No, I don't know where it came from. I imagine it probably came from one of these big trucks up here in front of me, which, you know, that's not very unusual. But it's all right. It didn't break. I see where it hit, though. I don't see a crack, but you know, it always gets that when your windshield gets hit by a rock, you always get that little white divot. That's what I've got, a little white divot. This guy over here in this cool ass Mustang. The thing's loud too. It's a 5.0. You know, I like the Mustang car, the Ford Mustang. Now, that's the GT there. That's the 5.0. But I like the 5.0 Fox bodies, you know, like from say 85 to 90 or something like that. The Fox bodies to me were the prettiest Mustangs, you know, or at least of the newer ones anyway. But man, that 5.0 that they put, those high output 5.0s they put in those fucking little bitty cars, those things would scream ass when I'm talking. Of course, now during that time period, I had a I had a 72 Olds Cutlass 442 with a Hurst shifter in the floor. I used to eat those 5.0s for breakfast. You know, they'd pull up next to me. It was loud. It was an obnoxious car. It was loud as hell. It had a 350 in it, and I had a Holly 650 on it, and I had headers about 250. Loud, super obnoxious, but it was super fast. And of course, you know, like I said, I had the Hurst old shifter in it, so you know I could be going 70 miles an hour and shift down in the low, stomp the gas, bark the tires, and take off, and be doing 100 before I could blink my eyes. That car was super fast. So we used to get together in Gastonia, North Carolina, on Franklin Boulevard. Was like the hangout strip up there. And these little kids in these Mustang 5.0s and Camaros and all kinds of cars would pull up next to me, and you know, they punch their gas, you know, trying to prove something. And I'd just look over and laugh at them a lot of times. I wouldn't even mess with them. But, you know, when I did, like, you could hear me coming from about a half mile away. Oh man, those were the good old days. So that was the 80s when you could get away with shit like that. But now you got so many stupid people on the road, you know, you can't do that anymore because there's, you know, people haven't taken care. You know, the law, especially if, I guess in Gastonia, you know, it's pretty dead now. Everybody that was smart moved the hell away from Gastonia, North Carolina. I did. I moved here in 2012, but I wasn't living in Gastonia when I left. I was living in, well, yeah, I was living in Gastonia when I left. I take that back. But anyway, it really surprises me, you know, that things have moved along the way they have. I've got this book that my better half gave me, looking at price comparisons and stuff from like 1975 until now. So that's 50 years. And do you know that the average household in 1975 had 2 parents, only one usually worked. The average take-home pay, weekly pay at your job was $600 a week. You can't even make it on that kind of money anymore. You know what I mean? It's really crazy. I'm sorry, not $600 a week, $600 a month. And people survived on that shit. I remember when I was young, I worked at Burger King in Pineville, North Carolina. I worked for $4.50 an hour. Look at these fucking truckers up here. What the fuck is going on with them? What the hell is wrong with my CB? Hey, you ladies up there, decide which fucking lane you want to be in. These fucking people, I swear. You got truckers cutting each other off and shit. Dumbasses. They can't decide which lane they want to be in, then they want to fight for one lane. I'm glad I got a CB radio. Truck, take it, fucking park it. I'm talking about fucking tanker back there. That's what I'm talking to. Anyway. Fucking dumbasses. Got nothing else better to do than drive like a bunch of fucking idiots. You know, it's bad enough you got a truck that big, but when you're fucking playing chicken with a fucking big truck like that, that's stupid. You know, these dumb motherfuckers that drive these big trucks today, no fucking courtesy whatsoever. Makes me sick. Fucking dumbasses. And here comes the big red truck. I guess he's going to come up here and prove something. Dumbass. Yeah, he's trying to catch me. That big red truck. He ain't gonna get around that ambulance. Yeah, he's having to slow down. What a fucking piece of work he is, trash.